Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. But for a radio audience here in Mississippi, at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com, we're glad that you all could join us. Also, tuning in for our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast. We're glad you all could be with us as well. Excited to welcome Broadway star Adam Pascal to our program today. You guys know him from a lot of great projects. This year, he's celebrating a new film that's coming out on demand December 17th called Wild About Harry. We'll talk to Adam not only about his journey, but also what it's been like for him to see the way that people are already responding to the new film and how you guys can stay connected with him. Adam, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having me, Cyrus.
The pleasure is definitely all mine. So, Adam, you have had such an extraordinary career. I mean, what has this journey been like for you, to being able to do what you love on stage and, of course, on screen, and to see the response to it?
Well, it's been an amazing career for many reasons, but one of the biggest ones is that I really kind of fell into this career to a certain degree. I grew up performing in rock bands in New York City and Long Island, and doing musical theater and becoming an actor was never something that I thought that I wanted to do. And then I ended up getting cast in Rent when it was off Broadway because of the actress Idina Menzel, who I grew up with. She called me up and said that she was doing the show, and there was this character that they couldn't cast, and did I want to audition for it? And it just seemed like an interesting thing to do, to actually audition for something, to play my guitar for somebody other than nobody in my apartment. So just for one person, sure, I'll sit down and play a song, and it kind of like went from there. And so my career started in a very sort of unorthodox way. So the fact that I'm here 25 years later and I've had the career that I've had has been incredible. It's been incredibly difficult, as anyone in show business will tell you. But it's been amazing, and there's been a lot going on in my career in the last year, because of things like Tick Tick Boom and Hawkeye and the show Pretty Woman that I'm in and all this stuff. So it's amazing because look, in the pandemic, we thought that our careers wouldn't come back at all, and that our industry wouldn't come back at all, and it was difficult for everybody in every industry, and ours sort of like no less. So to be where I am now as opposed to in the pandemic it's just like I couldn't be more grateful.
Adam, you gave a great rundown there of this year that's been part of 2021 for you. As you mentioned, Tick Tick Boom, then, of course, Hawkeye, and now, of course, this film. I think the thing, though, and I've seen this when people talk about you, it is about the work. I mean, you seem to be more focused on the work than a reward. Do you think that's been kind of the key for you in your longevity?
Yeah, well, thank you for saying that. Yes, I definitely. I've also been very fortunate in that the things that I have done have all kind of been good, to varying degrees of success, of course. But I think that everything for the most part is always good, and it's always been an amazing experience for me personally. Everything that I've done has been there's nothing in my career, whether it's been TV or film or anything I've ever done, that I look back and go, oh my God, that was horrible. There's nothing and that's an amazing thing that to be able to say. I've really honestly enjoyed everything I've ever done to one degree or another. So it's been. I'm so grateful for that. Yeah.
And, of course, people still get to enjoy you with music, things like, Something Right. And so talk to us about the decisions for you at this point, because, when we talk about a project like Wild About Harry, what was it about this film that made you say, I want to be a part of it?
Well, a lot of things. Certainly, it was a challenging story for an actor to tell,
right?
And it took place on Cape Cod, which was a place that I am very familiar with. I've spent, many, many years going there every summer. I knew the people, I knew the area. And it was also it was, for me as an actor, it was my first opportunity to take on a role like that in a movie, and to play a person that was a real person. For Gwen's, our directors, life. Like this person actually existed, and
right.
and sort of to be entrusted to play somebody like that. I think for the person who's making the movie, like that to me that was like a heavy. It wasn't a burden, but it was just like a heavy thing that I valued, and I respected that, and that kind of drew me to it as well. Like I was like, wow, this person, believes that I can be this other person that actually meant something to her and was somebody that she loved.
What a powerful thing. You said something in an interview recently, Adam, that really struck me, because I think so many times, and I've found myself even asking the question on this platform about success, what success looks like, and you talked about in one interview that you did that for you success is happiness. How did you get there? Because I think for so many people would say success is being Adam Pascal, being able to be on stage, be on screen, to do all these things. How did you get to a place where happiness was good enough for you?
I didn't, and I don't, and I'm not. I mean, that's what I strive for. I think I agree with what I said. Success is happiness. Would I consider myself a success? I would consider myself somebody who lives in varying degrees of success. You know what I mean? Because of that, I'm not always happy. Look, nobody is, and so I'm grateful that I've had the career that I've had. But as I mentioned before, look, show business is really hard. You know what I mean? And to have longevity, you go through a lot of emotional turmoil. You know what I mean? Show business is an enormous amount of struggle, and then you get the job. Like I never look at the jobs that I've done as the actual jobs. I sort of reframed it in my brain as like those are the wins. The real work in this business, the real is not giving up when you can't get a job. You know what I mean? Is not giving up when you think you'll never work again. To me, like that's the work. Once you finally get a job, like that's the prize of that's you've stuck it out this long. You've just won a prize. Boom, here we go. Now I get the prize. I sort of frame it like that.
I love that. And I think, too, the other thing about you, Adam, is that you, even though you've done so much, it seems to always be about the what's next. I mean, it's very easy to be able just to say what I've been able to do. Do you find the what's next one of the things that does excite you in your business?
Oh, of course, absolutely, because it's such an unknown. It really is. It's always an unknown. Like if you ask me right now, what's next? I have no idea, and so it's always an unknown.
Right.
It would be great were I to have the kind of career where like I had my next 3 projects lined up, but it doesn't work that way. Especially when the dominant portion of my career is Broadway musical theater. It doesn't work that way. You can't line things up in a way that you can sort of like a very successful film actor can line up movie projects or whatever it is, So I really don't know. I have a lot of things I want to do. I'm sure there are a lot of different things that I will do, and it kind of works that way. You sort of just keep hustling, and go from job to job, and that's part of the stress,
Gotcha.
And so. I mean, that's all the stress is wondering what's next. When will something be next? So look, I'm on this. Interestingly enough, I'm on this national tour right now of Pretty Woman, and we're in Rochester this week, by the way. I'll be on this tour for the next year, but I'm already thinking now, like, okay, what am I doing next after the tour? I've got to start thinking about, well, what about this show? Can I go into that show? Or is there a new musical? Or what about TV and film? Like, or what about my live music? Should I go to London? Should I do there's a million things you're thinking about, and like, that's just, you just hustle in this business. That's the way, that's the only way to have longevity.
I love that. I want to ask you one question about that, Adam, if you don't mind. Then we're going to remind our audience how they can stay connected with you, because you are able to enjoy the best of both worlds in a sense when it comes to audiences, right? Because right now you're enjoying that live audience where you're able to get that feel right then as to what you're doing, and they're able to kind of feel that energy. Versus in a film, there is this waiting period, and then people find out later. What is that like for you to be on stage and to feel that energy?
Well, it's really what I'm drawn to. I've done. It's just what I respond to, my sensibility. I would imagine people who are really drawn to doing it on camera probably feel that way about that in the way that I feel about being on stage in front of people. You know, like it's just, I think whatever sort of suits you, whatever you've grown up with. I've been performing live kind of my whole life. Like I said, I grew up playing in rock bands, so it started there. And just being on a stage in front of people is what I'm drawn to. It's what suits me. It's what suits my sensibility. It's where I feel most comfortable. And certainly in terms of storytelling, I like telling a story from the beginning to the end and being done with it, you know. And it's I find filmmaking a lot of fun, but it is but it is tedious, you know. And I feel like I'm just better in front of a live audience with that energy. I feel like I'm just a better performer in that genre.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I know there's going to be many more things to come. As you mentioned, though, right now they can catch you in Pretty Woman, the musical. And also we want to remind our audience again, coming on demand December 17th is the new film, Wild About Harry, also starring Adam. Again, everyone, Adam Pascal has been our guest. Make sure you guys are staying connected with him with all of the great projects. So, Adam, where is the best place for them to find you?
Well, only probably on Instagram, which is at Adam Pascal, ADAMPASCAL. Yeah, anything and everything that I do will show up there in one way, shape, or form.
All right. Well, Adam, congratulations to you on another great year, all your success, and looking forward to speaking with you again.
Thank you, Cyrus. Appreciate it.
Hey, appreciate you. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live here at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.